This is the Astrology and Tarot Show with Jessica Adams.
Thanks, Shane. This is your forecast for the week starting Monday, July 14. Your tarot can be decoded at my website. Aries, the Magician; Taurus, the World; Gemini, the Ace of Wands; Cancer, the Three of Cups; Leo, the Knight of Wands; Virgo, the Empress; Libra, the Two of Pentacles; Scorpio, the Eight of Wands; Sagittarius, Temperance; Capricorn, Strength; Aquarius, the Nine of Cups; and Pisces, the Fool. Aries, there is repetition with your workload, lifestyle, mental health, physical health, duty to other people, housework, unpaid work, and actual work ethic this week. Why? Because you have a spiritual debt to collect from the past or a spiritual debt to repay. This cycle does stop in July 2026, but this week there is a balance sheet and it's taking you back 18 or 19 years. This is the node cycle, and it's connected to all that you are owed or that you owe from 18 or 19 years before. So work, volunteering, study, unpaid effort is all tied to that, and round you go again, as you have been all year. What can you change about that? Well, you can change yourself on the inside. You can find a point of view, Aries, that makes you happier about it and philosophical. And this applies even if you feel that the universe is repaying you. You still find life is on a loop. Virgo in your chart, Aries, rules your mental and physical health as well as your workload. So it's about the interconnectedness of that. And again, you may owe spiritually from the past or be owed. So, for example, if you covered somebody else's medical costs 18 years ago, you may now find yourself first in line for treatment. This famously repetitive cycle shows you the same script so that you can rehearse your lines the next time the scene repeats. What change in your attitude will make you feel better on the inside? Aries, this does end on July 26, 2026, so you have about 12 months of the oh so familiar, but knowing what comes next helps you master it. It's a bit like Groundhog Day. You can turn it to your advantage. Taurus, well, the South Node in Virgo will repeat the past for you this week as you look at your babies, son, grandchildren, daughter, younger relatives, grandchildren, and so on. It really depends on your age. We might also look at teenagers or young adults, children with whom you must work or serve on some level. It's about the next generation, and you've been here before. As this transit brings you back to the past 18 or 19 years ago, this could also be about the bedroom or courtship as much as it's about younger people. Life comes back between now and July next year. So nothing is new under the sun this week. Just knowing what comes next, in fact, will help you adjust your expectations and come up with a point of view that works for you. Now, former British PM Rishi Sunak is a Taurus like you, and he's set up a children's charity. David Beckham is a Taurus like you, and he's going through challenges with his son. No matter if this karma now is easy or hard for you, Taurus, look at what was going on 18 or 19 years before in your private life or with the world of children or younger people to see if you still owe or you are being repaid. July 2026 will end it, but this week you do get to see the loop. What can you change? Well, you can start with your approach. Gemini, everything that you're experiencing this week goes into aspects of being part of a family, living in a particular home, belonging to a particular hometown or homeland, and this takes you back 18 or 19 years. That is what the South Node in Virgo does. It also goes beyond the actual household because, of course, flatmates or roommates can be a family, or the kitchen, to the council or the government, into deeply emotional matters, maybe about your parents. How could it be otherwise when you have this South Node transit in your chart? Gemini, some old emails from 18 or 19 years ago will show you the pattern. This may be your son. It may be the mother of your child, your sister, or your nephew. Maybe the person that you shared the house or apartment with way back then. So this is around 2006, 2007, 2008, as the cycle does go until July next year. Knowing what somebody is going to do or say next, which they will, is an advantage. It allows you to examine the year to date and figure out your happiest angle. Of course, you may be owed. Perhaps you did or said the right things karmically with the house, the apartment, the family, or the household. So now that you can see the payback, you understand the loop. And if it's going the other way, well, you're going to be asked to go for closure. This week will show you that that closure will take time, and it may feel like déjà vu. But taking a philosophical approach, using this same old situation will actually make you a lot happier. Cancer. A circular situation now rotates, and it's all about the internet, the media, communication, information. This cycle is going through your third house. The South Node in Virgo will bring the same old thing around, as it has in fact since the start of this year, but there is a point to it. Going back to your old emails from 18 or 19 years ago will show you the point, and it's really about getting some closure because nothing was really finished all those years ago. These digital or paper projects, plans, courses or ideas will show you the déjà vu this week, and it may include languages or it may include fundamental communication like hearing or sight. Looking back can help you understand the theme. You are owed or you owe, and there's a kind of reckoning up or settling up over the next 12 months. What happens this week is part of the slow road to final closure. Believe it or not, this cycle does end eventually in July next year. Even if you're on the receiving end of what is clearly some kind of universal settlement or the universe giving you closure, you still have to deal with the repetition. And if you get the feeling that you're on the back foot with something and you have to repay in some way, that's also quite true. It may be literally the same thing as before, so it might be Google, for example. However, it's more common for this cycle to bring up same theme, different faces. What you can do this week is alter your angle and actually exploit the situation so that you gain from it. It is so predictable, and it has been all year, that you can actually go above it. Leo, this is a week of cycling through with your money, the house, the apartment, business, taxation, valuables, charity, the bank, and so on. It goes until just near your birthday next year, and it is a long cycle of repetition for a pretty good reason. It makes you change on the inside, and perhaps you do need to change. Leo, as you look at the numbers, the real estate or the bank this week, even if it is so familiar, in terms of the theme, it's because the nodes are going backwards through the signs and not forwards. So you're being pulled back to life 18 or 19 years before in order that you can close the circle. It takes about another year, as you don't see the end of the nodes in Virgo or Pisces until July 26, 2026. Leo, if you gave unconditionally, then now you receive. But if you are in minus figures with the universe for some reason, you will have to settle up. Those are the rules of this cycle. Plus, if you have anything in Taurus in your birth chart, this is going to be a real turning point for you, as from July 7, the most unpredictable financial cycle of your life just stopped. Whatever your chart looks like, the best way to deal with the loop this week is to use it, because when you know what is coming next, you can afford to analyze the right response, the one that makes you feel the most comfortable. Eventually, though, you will realize that the whole point of this wasn't the money or the property. It was about changing on the inside. Virgo. The mirror reflection that your former, current, or potential partner shows back to you is a glimpse of the past as it was 18 or 19 years ago, either with this person or quite another, as there was a partnership or a dispute then that carried karma. Now this week, the karma comes back to you. At the other end, we have the North Node in Virgo, your own sign. So this is about how you appear to the world, but just as much, it's about your other half or the other side. We could talk about a famous Virgo like Sir Stephen Fry and his dispute with J.K. Rowling. She, in fact, shows the mirror to him. You could also talk about a famous Virgo like Keanu Reeves and the fact that his girlfriend just showed up with a diamond ring on her wedding finger again. So all eyes are on her, but that means the eyes are on him. So you see the way that this cycle works. Reputation, image, profile, and appearance is down to he or she, be they with you or against you. The circle spins this week, and it all does seem terribly familiar. In fact, if you went back 18 or 19 years ago, you might find photographs or letters that show you the soundtrack. You will spend until next year in closure about this because you are owed or you owe, and it's going to take about 12 months for the whole thing to be settled on a karmic level. Meantime, you get to change on the inside, evolve if you like, and become happier about it. Libra. Well, we have karma this week, and every sign is going through it. For you, it will be about religion, counselling, psychics, horoscopes, the tarot, therapy, and your inner life. It will take time, space, peace, quiet, and solitude to deal with what you're going through this week. What happens now may concern you as a Jew, a Christian, a Catholic, a Buddhist. It may concern you as a psychic's client, a medium, and so on. The 12th house is also about seeing a doctor, psychiatrist, or psychologist about your headspace. You have been here before, and old messages from 18 or 19 years before, or old dreams or memories may show you. This week is about paying back or receiving on a cosmic level. So if you're due to receive because you ticked all the right boxes 18 and a half years ago, that will arrive, maybe with something that's very private or spiritual for you. And if you need to learn some kind of lesson, that will also arrive. The Duchess of York, Sarah, a Libran like you, has just gone public about her mental health treatment. It really depends on your personal birth chart. But whatever is between you and your diary is what this cycle is about. At best, normally you only have one other person, like a priest or a counsellor, who's in the story with you. But the good thing about knowing what's coming next, as you have all year, is that you can choose how you are going to respond to it. Scorpio. Groups and friends are the story for you this week. This may be a band, the Freemasons, the Democrats, Save the Children, or a purely social circle of people online. But there is karma. The South Node in Virgo in your 11th house of groups and friends is about what you owe or are owed either by them or other people from 18 or 19 years ago. This might suggest karma with a tribe, like a football team or a trade union, or it may be less formal than that, but you are going to see repetition. When these invisible points in the horoscope move backwards through the 12 signs of the zodiac, so does time, and only you really know the score. That score will be settled over the next week, but also ongoing until July next year. That's why you keep seeing friends or people in the group say and do the same things. In fact, nothing is any different no matter what you do. You wake up again to the next script. What you can do, though, is direct it the way that you want to on the inside. In a way, the repetition is quite handy, whether you feel that you're being repaid or whether you're having to repay. You can exploit knowing what comes next to become more comfortable about it or even to use it for your own benefit. This goes on, as I've said, until about July next year. Sagittarius. Well, the Virgo transit of the South Node is about your ambition, position, and mission. It is about karma affecting your rank, status, title, role, and the hierarchy or system around that from life 18 or 19 years ago. Meanwhile, there's something else going on in your horoscope. Uranus is leaving Taurus in July. In fact, he's already gone. And here comes the end of so much instability surrounding daily life or your workload, as well as your health on all levels. This area of your chart is about serving and doing your duty. Meanwhile, at the other end of your chart, we have this story about ambition, and both are showing you a totally different situation. You also need closure with the past as a situation which affected your career, your academic career, or your unpaid vocation 18 or 19 years ago never closed. So a Sagittarius like Brad Pitt just released his F1 film, and it's a huge hit. He's clearly owed from 18 or 19 years before, and yet he must feel that he's been there and done that. So this week, Sagittarius, no matter if you feel you're being rewarded or you're on the back foot, going back 18 or 19 years will tell you what the story is. The South Node in Virgo in your 10th house is about understanding it might be another 12 months until you see this stop. But by then, you will have absolutely done your karma or received what needs to come your way. Capricorn, the 9th house of your solar chart, is about foreigners and foreign countries this week. The South Node in the 9th house is delivering who or what is so familiar to you from 18 or 19 years ago. So you may be back in Dublin, or you may be dealing with newcomers from Sydney, just as you were before. This may be about Jews and Arabs or Saudi Arabia, and of course the karma can rotate and revolve in your own town with foreign people there. If you're in London, it may be the French, and if you're French, like Macron, it will be the English. He's just met both Charles III and the British Prime Minister. However you're being affected, Capricorn, whether it's at home or away, going back all those years ago will give you the clues about what needs to be repaid to you by the universe or what you have to repay. Because the South Node in Virgo moves backwards, never forwards, you are almost time traveling this week. Things were set in motion then that were never finished. So that explains the repetition, no matter if it's about the Commonwealth or whether it's about people speaking a different language at work. This cycle won't stop until July 2026, so there's a fair bit to go through. And it's a good idea to be aware that the nodes will be back 18 or 19 years from now. So the karma that you accumulate between now and July next year is also really important. You don't want to end up in spiritual debt, for example. So when in doubt, listen to your conscience and listen to that voice inside your head which is telling you what happened before could happen again, whether you feel that you're gaining or you have to repay. Aquarius. The emphasis on money in your chart this week comes from the node cycle in Virgo and Pisces, which rules the bank, insurance, pensions, superannuation, your house or apartment, shares, and the rest. Aquarius, there is a strong echo of what happened 18 or 19 years before, which affects all the signs this week. No matter if you were buying your first apartment then, or you were making your first venture on the share market, or just paying a big tax bill. It's pretty clear that you have a major milestone decision coming up in August or September as well, and that may be in your calendar already. This week is about trying to clear the decks for that and sorting out the karma, because this is the kind of week when you collect from the past or you repay. If you collect, you may have been unconditionally giving 18 or 19 years ago, so now you get an apartment at a bargain price, maybe because you helped the homeless last time round. There are so many examples. Curiously, Aquarius, there is often a round number effect with this cycle. So to the last dollar, euro, or pound, you find yourself paying up, borrowing, or settling in exact numbers. This cycle will end at about this time next year. Until then, you get to use the déjà vu to grow, to become a happier or better person, even though this is money that we're talking about. And you can be in profit this week or in loss and still feel as if you're somehow reckoning with the past. There will come a point at which this is no longer an issue, but just for the moment, you do have to keep the loop going. Pisces, the focus on your former, current, or potential partner continues this week as the South Node goes through your opposite sign of Virgo. Sometimes the issue on this cycle is your enemy, rival, or opponent. This may be a romantic duet, a professional double act, or a dispute. Basically, the South Node in Virgo in your 7th house is about the duet or the duel, and it takes a lot of hindsight here to understand that you owe or you are owed back from the past 18 or 19 years before, and that goes on until July next year. So this week, here comes another loop, either with the same person from that time or a different person raising the same questions. It is time for a new dynamic on the inside, though, as when you hear and see the same thing every day, the only answer is to change on the inside, to alter your attitude so that you feel more comfortable. Pisces Prince Andrew, born under your zodiac sign, has a more extreme horoscope than you, and of course he did more extreme things with it. But right on time, the FBI has closed its investigation into him. This does in fact go back 18 or 19 years, when Epstein went to his daughter Princess Beatrice's 18th birthday party. So it's right on that cycle. But enough about other people. The point is for you that about 18 or 19 years ago, you did chalk up karma with a key person. And now the loop is back in your life, so the circuit has to close. It happens quite slowly, and it will take you until this time next year. And it may be with the same face or quite a different one. But you recognise what you're being shown or told. What you can do in the meantime is become more spiritual about it, which every Pisces is, and far more wise about your own soul, because this is a soul contract. It's the only part of your horoscope which is. In India, they call this the cycle of Rahu and Ketu. For us in the West, it is the dragon's head and the dragon's tail. It's ancient. You can find it turning up everywhere from astronomical devices from the Middle Ages to Stonehenge, but it's affecting you this week, and it's time to look back, learn from the past, and understand that closure will come, but it has to come with repetition. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch up with you next week.